Hey guys, Telegram Sam here. So today's shout is going to be to the Omaha Introvert. I love her channel so much. She really introduced me to a lot of the 80s alternative new wave. She calls them power pop bands that I now really know and love. Also, like shoegaze, she introduced me to that in My Bloody Valentine. I love My Bloody Valentine now because of her. And she just started doing this new series where she goes into, I think the only 2 years she's done so far is 1979, 1980. But she'll look through her collection of records and we'll just pick out and talk about the best albums that came out that year, and it's really cool and really fascinating. And she shows some obvious stuff and she shows some stuff I've never even heard of before, and that's been really popular for her. And I've heard her talk about in some other videos that she plans on doing more of those videos, and they're just really good. Love her and her style, and she was definitely a big influence on me wanting to start my channel. So thank you, Omaha Introvert. Love you. Go check her out. And I'll link her channel in the description as well. So yeah, today's video is going to be the top 10 most expensive records in my, or most valuable records in my collection. I don't really like, putting a value on my records because, I have some records that I paid a lot of money for that are crap, and some records I paid $3 for that are amazing. But this is a hobby. This is a collection based hobby, and some things are just more valuable than others. And I think it's really, when I watch other people's videos, it's really interesting because you'll be watching them like, oh yeah, I expected that, and you're like, oh really, that's a $300 record. And there's been a couple times where I've been watching the videos like those and I'll be like, oh my god, I definitely saw that at a record store for like $5, and I'm now finding out it's like a $300 record. But yeah, it's just very interesting to me. And so I'm not going to be including any like deluxe version of records or any box sets or anything. I'm just doing singular normal albums. And the way I kind of figured the pricing is I kind of went at it as like, if I were to sell these records, how much I would post them for. So not only did I look at the Discogs low, high, medium numbers, but I also looked at the marketplace for these records, both on Discogs, eBay, and various other like secondhand vinyl selling websites. So yeah, that's how I based this. And we're going to be starting from low to high, so let's get into it. This I just showed last week. This is Joji's Nectar. This was an Urban Outfitters exclusive. It literally came out early last month, I think like April 14th or 15th. This dropped. But this was limited to 5,000 copies, and it was on this very deep red vinyl. On camera it kind of looks like more reddish orange, but in person it's definitely like a blood red. But yeah, this sold out pretty quickly on their website, and of course like everyone pretty much bought them just to like resell them for $60 to $65 is like the average going price of a sealed version of this. But because mine's opened and I've listened to it, it also kind of has this crease on it. I would probably, if I were going to sell this, probably list it for $50. But it'll be interesting to see like in a year or two if this goes up or goes down once like all of the new hype from it kind of dies down. And then next we got this reissue of Black Flag's Damaged. So this was originally released in 1981. And this says this is a 1984 reissue, but I think this is a little bit later, maybe late 80s, early 90s. I couldn't really figure it out. But this is just a classic hardcore punk album. Pretty much anyone that's starting a punk collection needs to have this. It's a great record. Love Black Flag, one of my all-time favorite punk bands. It's on this just black vinyl, this light blue custom label. I'd say the cover is near mint, and I would also rate the media as near mint. And On various marketplaces, I saw these going for around $55, so that's why I would probably list this one as. Next, we got probably one of my best thrift store finds. I showed this in my top 5 most valuable thrift store finds video. It was one of my older ones before I got this nice new camera, so the quality isn't that good. But this is Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. This is in like near mint condition. This is original 1973 stereo pressing. Don't know if it's first pressing, but it's definitely an early pressing. But yeah, just one of my favorite Led Zeppelin albums. Probably my all-time favorite Led Zeppelin album is Physical Graffiti, and this would probably be like 2 or 3. But yeah, I would rate the cover as VG. I mean, it does have this sticker on it. Since I paid $2 at the thrift store for this, that I'm just scared to take off and damage it even more. It does have some, creasing, and on the back cover it has like a little bit of ring wear. But it does still have the original sleeve in it that has, the lyrics and everything. And the media is in really great condition as well. It just has a few minor scuffs and slight scratches that don't really affect the play at all. So I'd probably rate the cover and the media both VG pluses. And those are averaging around $60, so I would probably sell this one for $60. Then next, we got something I just got last week. This was a Discogs purchase. This is like a holy grail album for me. This is X-Ray Specs Germ-Free Adolescence. This is originally came out in 1978. This is a 2017 reissue. From what I've seen, there wasn't a lot of American reissues. There was this one 2017, and then I think another one in 2018. But this is really a big album in Europe and Britain, which is where the X-Ray Specs are from. They were a great female-led. Polystyrene is just one of the greatest punk rock singers. She was really doing it before even the Clash and the Sex Pistols, and the fact that the X-Ray Specs aren't as talked about as them is such a fucking shame, and this is just such a great record. But yeah, this reissue is special because there was only 500 copies of these made, and it's on this really cool, they call it radioactive green vinyl. The camera doesn't do it justice. It's like a highlighter bright green. It's marbled and it has these great blue custom labels. But yeah, this is great. And it was sealed when I got it, which I wasn't expecting, because I think the seller said it was like VG plus and didn't even mention that it was sealed. But yeah, I would rate the cover near mint, and the media the same as well. And I would probably list this for $65. That's about what I paid for it. Of course, I think I throw on a couple of extra bucks for shipping and handling. I think I ended up paying $70 altogether for this. So, but I love this record. It was definitely worth it. And then next we got one of my all-time favorite records, Iggy Pop's Lust for Life. This is an original 1977 issue. Not sure if this is first press, but this is definitely an early press. Definitely Iggy Pop's greatest solo album, in my opinion. It has Lust for Life, Somewhere It's In, love that song, The Passenger, Tonight, Neighborhood Threat, Turn Blue. Just every song on this is a banger. And it came on this RCA label, just regular old black. But yeah, I would rate the cover of VG. It does have, this like punch out on the side here, and it does have some seam splitting and some corner bangs. So I would rate the cover of VG and the media VG plus. The record itself, has a few scuffs and scratches, but nothing that affects the play. And I would probably list this for about $70. Next, we got another classic punk album. This is Bad Brains' self-titled album, Bad Brains. Again, another just if you want a punk rock collection and you don't have this, it's illegal. It's illegal. But yeah, this is just such a killer album. Just really, really hardcore punk. Definitely not for you Ramones, Green Day fans. But yeah, this originally came out in 1982, and this is a 1997 repress. Just came on black vinyl with this red label, Roar. But yeah, I would rate the cover as being near mint and the media being VG+. It does have a few scuffs, but again, nothing that really affects the play of anything. I would probably sell this one for about $85. This is a really clean copy, and I've seen these go up as much as like 100 to 120, but because it's opened, I'd probably do it for about $80. Next, we're going to make a pretty big jump from $80 to $145 with Queen of the Stone Age's debut self-titled album. This is probably one of my all-time favorite albums. I love Queens of the Stone Age. I love this album, my favorite Queens of the Stone Age album. This is a 2011 reissue. This album originally came out in 1998. It had a different cover, and those go for like anywhere from $800 to $1,100 for a really, really good condition one. So those are very expensive. But this has only been reissued twice. This one came out in 2011, and another version of this album came out in 2010, and there hasn't been a reissue since. So these are very limited, very hard to come by. Got this off Discogs. I think I paid like $120 for it this February, and that was the first time I've ever paid more than $50 for a record. But this is a record I love, and it was worth it for me. But yeah, I would rate the cover and the media both VG pluses. It does have a little bit of like corner wear, but besides that, it's like pretty brand spanking new. And this is the record, just as black, and it came with these custom labels. But yeah, these are going for a lot. I was pretty lucky that I found mine for $130. But because it's opened and it's not brand new, I would probably list this for $145. Then next we got another Josh Homme project. This is Peace, Love, and Death Metal by Eagles of Death Metal. For those of you who don't know, Eagles of Death Metal is the side project of the Queens of the Stone Age singer and guitarist Josh Homme that he does with his friend Jesse Hughes. I would say this is kind of like alternative glam rock, hard rock. It definitely reminds me of like a modern day version of T-Rex or like Mott and the Hoople or Sweet or something like that. But this came out in 2004, and this is an original press of this. It was sealed when I got it. I think I paid about $80 for it. The guy gave me a really good deal because it does have this pretty bad corner crease right here. But yeah, it was sealed, so the media is in mint condition. I've only played it once so far, but I would obviously rate the cover as like good. But it came on this really cool pink marbled vinyl with these custom labels that say Woogie and Boogie. Love this album. I almost have all of Eagles of Death Metal's albums. I think I'm only missing like one or two. Love them. Got to see them open for Queens of the Stone Age on their Villains tour. But yeah, if I were to list this, I would probably ask $175 for this. I've seen ones with better covers going as much as like $200 to $225, but because of that corner crease, I know most people would expect like $175, $150 for this. Next, second most expensive record. This is like one of my most prized possessions. If my apartment were to catch on fire, besides my cat, this would probably be the next thing I were to grab. This is a first pressing of Iggy and the Stooges' Raw Power. I am a huge Iggy Pop, Iggy and the Stooges fan. This means everything to me, especially since this is something my brother gave me. My brother worked at a record store for a short time. Well, it was more like a thrift store, and it was also like kind of like a makeshift record store. But he knows how much of an Iggy and the Stooges fan I am, and this guy just brought in a lot of records, and he saw this, and I think he said he paid his boss like $5 for it because he didn't know who Iggy and the Stooges was or how valuable this album is. But yeah, my all-time favorite Iggy and the Stooges record, I'd probably rate this as my first, their debut album as my second, Funhouse as my third favorite. But yeah, this cover is pretty beat up. It has, some severe ring wear to it. It also has some pretty severe ring wear on the back. The seams aren't that great, the corners aren't that great. And it's missing the original color insert. But I don't know, this is just such a priceless record to me. Like this would probably be like the last album I would probably sell if times got hard and I had to sell my record collection. So yeah, I would rate the cover as good. It's still intact. All the seams are still glued together. The media I would rate as VG. It does have some scuffing and some light scratches, but it's still playable, and I don't really hear any effects from the scuffing or scratching when I play it. But yeah, a really, really clean copies of these can go for as much as $300 to $400. I've seen them go for even more if they're sealed or still have, part of the shrink wrap on it with like the promo stickers. But because this one isn't in the greatest condition and not super minty, I would probably ask about $200 for this. But yeah, I would never get rid of this. You would have to pry this out of my cold dead hands before that were to happen. Next, the last record, my most valuable record in my collection. I just got this earlier this year. This is Jane's Addiction's first album. This is the first pressing of their first album. This came out in 1987. This is a live album, but it's the first album that has the first recording of their most popular song, Jane Says, on it. That would later come out, the studio version would later come out on their album that came out in 1988, Nothing Shocking. But yeah, this is a great album. I love it. I got this for a steal. I think it was $120. The guy that I bought that Queens of the Stone Age album from messaged me when I bought that, saying he had some records that he kind of wanted to sell off Discogs because he didn't really think it was worth selling on there. And he kind of just threw this in because he probably like went through my Discogs and stuff that I listened to and realized I probably would have liked this. And of course, I saw how much these were going for on Discogs and thought $120 was a pretty good deal. But yeah, this cover is like almost near mint. It just has, some creasing stuff on the side, but besides that, it's super clean. Same thing with the media. I would probably rate this like VG+. Has these great custom labels on it. But yeah, on average, these are going close to about $250 to $300. I would probably sell mine for about $225. But yeah, killer record. Love this record. Has a great mix of, their original early stuff, and they do some covers of rock and roll and Sympathy for the Devils. So yeah, that's it. Those are the most valuable records in my collection. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in next week's video.